computer.
Right.
Good. So we've got to do some grammar and some of the readings. What I was proposing to do is to look at reading 4. We started reading 4 last time, then have a chunk of grammar, and then go into reading 1 in the second section. That will rather the one that's called further readings.
Yeah.
So reading 4 on my printed text. It's on number 5. Let me call it up. So we'll just. Oh, hang on. First of all, let me just call up the share screen with the iPad. Bear with me. Yeah, nearly there. Share screen 1. And it should be shared. Is it shared? Now, can you just remind me, with it shared, what can you see at your end? Can you see just a few faces plus a screen full of the iPad? Oh,
Yes.
because I've got, with my banker screens, I've got one screen where I can see all of you and another screen where I've got the iPad. I'm just going to oops, mistake. I'm going to pause the share. Are you now back to seeing a screen with all of you?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So I paused the share. Um, oh, maybe I stopped the share. So I'm mucking this up. I'm mucking this up badly. Because it does have a function. So is it shared now? Okay.
Yes.
Now I'm going to pause the share, see if the function works. It wasn't working last time. Are you still seeing the iPad?
Yeah.
Then the pause share function is not working if it's still visible. Okay, we'll just have to live with that. Right. So I'll just read this first sentence of sorry, section 4, reading 1, section 4.
Reading 1.
Sorry? Somebody say something. Okay, yeah. Welcome, Orca.
Krista, I think you're not muted, so we can hear.
Yeah, I'm not muted. Sorry.
Okay.
Me. Yeah.
Known as the hot mic. Some politicians have got themselves into hot water with a hot mic, haven't they? The bhikkhu Anupananam papakanam akusalanam dhammanam anupadaya chandanjaneti vayamati viryam arabhati chittam paganahati padahati. So we went through this in some detail last time. And I explained that chanda, meaning a desire or a wish, it's not the same as kama. Kama tends to indicate kind of sense desires, And generally within the Buddhist texts, it's got a bit of a kind of a morally pejorative tone. Chanda, by contrast, is a morally neutral word on its own. You can have a kusala chanda, a skillful chanda, and an akusala chanda. Here, we're being the monk, or well, all of us really, are being encouraged to chandam janeti, to generate a chanda. So your chanda to learn Pali is distinctly a kusala chanda. The chanda, somebody in the lay life can generate a chanda to into the monkhood, distinctly kusala chanda. So chandan janeti, he generates a desire. And remember, janeti, Sanskrit janayati, directly cognate with the word generate, gives birth to, brings into being, causes to be born. So he generates his chandam for what? Put that in the dative, the anupadaya, for the non-arising, literally the non-upcoming, the non-arising. Of what? Akusalanam dhammanam, of unskillful dhammas. Here, dhammas, well, dhamma, can be a bit of a slippery word. It can mean just things generally, but here is probably states of mind, states of being. So, Chandan Janeti, Anupadaya Akusalanam Dhammanam, but there are three adjectives, all in the genitive plural, qualifying Dhammanam. This is Anupannanam, Papakanam, Akusalanam, Dhammanam. For the Anupadaya, that's dative, a desire towards or for the non-arising of unarisen, evil, unskillful states. Remember this word papa, commonly translated as sin, that just means generally evil, both an adjective and a noun. So this papakanam, where you see it here, here we are, it could equally have been papanam, using papa as an adjective. But papaka and papa then essentially have the same meaning. I don't detect any distinction of meaning there. So viryam arabhati. Viryam arabhati, he arouses energy. There's arab, rab meaning to take or to grasp or to get. Arab, this prefix a, has this dynamic effect. He grasps up, like girding of the loins. He grasps up the energy. This rub, by the way, this root rub, it can also mean to begin. Arambha or arabha sometimes is a m there. It's the rub cognate with it's a twin root with lub, rub and lub. And they originated from the same root. It means to get, simply. And then it's got all these various extensions of meaning. It's the same one that comes into Latin as labor, English labor. But whereas in Sanskrit and Pali, the lab and rub are the actual getting of something, in Latin it means the work, the labor, the labor you have to do in order to get something. Incidentally, it also means seizing and grabbing. It's incidentally from where our English word rape comes from, that same root, and seizing by force. It is that same root. So, and here with the prefix as the dynamic prefix. often meaning towards or at. So he arouses, he grabs up his virya. In this context, it means energy or strength. Chittam pagganhati. Pagganhati, literally, it's from pragrahnati in Sanskrit to push forward, to place forward. So he chittam he's got what's in his chitta, and he places that as the objective that he's created in his chitta and does it. He goes for it. Padahati. Again, that just means it's another word for places in front of him, places this objective in front of him, goes for it. Literally, it means four places, four as in FOR, in front. He places it in front of him as his objective, meaning then he strives. So what I'm going to try and experiment, what I would counsel you to do is to not look at the text. I'm going to read out the text again, but I'm actually going to build it up little bit by little bit. Just try to understand it as I'm saying it in Pali, and I'll build up the sentence bit by bit. So bhikkhu chandanjaneti. Bhikkhu chandanjaneti. Bhikkhu dhanmanam anupadaya chandam janeti. Or in an English order, janeti chandam anupadaya dhammanam. Janeti chandam anupadaya akusalanam dhammanam. Now back to the correct Pali order. Bhikkhu akusalanam dhammanam anupadaya chandan janeti. Bhikkhu anupanam dhammanam anupadaya chandan janeti. Now the full sentence. Bhikkhu anupannanam papakanam akusalanam dhammanam anupadaya chandan janeti. Vayamati viryam arabhati chittam pagganhati padahati. We'll move now to the next sentence. The next sentence, there's only it's almost identical, save for the word pahanaya or pahana, meaning the abandonment, the letting go. So bhikkhu uppannanam papakanam akusalanam dhammanam pahanaya chandanjaneti vayamati viryam arabhati chittam pagganhati padahati. This section, actually, for these four sentences, this is simply a description of the definition of what's known as right effort in the Eightfold Path. It is the Samma Vayama. The right effort is defined. Correct me anyone if I got it wrong. It's for the non-arising of unarisen unskillful states, for the generation of the arising of skillful states, and vice versa, for the getting rid of arisen unskillful states. What's the fourth one? What's the fourth one? Fill in somebody.
I find it useful to remember it in the order. So
Please
it's
do.
non-arising of new unskillful,
Okay, yes.
abandoning of unskillful, generating skillful, and then nurturing skillful.
Nurturing the skillful. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Here we are. Yes, Bhavanaya Paripuriya. That's a little bit further down. Thank you. Thank you, Jen. The key word here is Vayamati. It's the expression commonly translated as right effort is Samavayama. I think I did. Did I discuss the analysis of that word last time? Does everyone here fully feel the force of that word?
You did discuss Vayama last time.
Okay, Sarah.
The push and pull.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the very last couple of words you said.
The push and pull, the tug of
That's
war.
exactly so. Yes, the Vayama. That's why this translation effort. Okay, if you have to have a one-word translation, that's probably as good as any, but it doesn't quite catch the nuance of the Pali. It's like a dynamic tussle of a pushing and pulling between the person who is making that effort and the forces that he's either opposing or generating. In fact, the word effort, exportiare in Latin, meaning to pushing out strength. Here, this is a much more dynamic in interplay, as Sarah correctly remembered. It's more like the tug of war. So I'll read the second sentence then. Bhikkhu uppannanam papakanam akusalanam dhammanam pahanaya chandanjaneti vayamati viryam arabhati chittam paganhati padahati. So all that's new there is that this is the already arisen, the uppannanam, as opposed to the anupannanam. This is the already arisen states. So he generates a desire for the bahana, for the abandonment of them. It's the bahana, it's from the root ha, meaning to leave or to abandon. It is commonly construed both in Sanskrit and Pali with the prefix praha, which doesn't really alter the meaning in this case. Praha in Sanskrit, paha in Pali, just means the abandonment. It's abandonment in the sense of throwing out, like throwing out the trash, throwing out something that's not wanted. There is another root meaning to leave or to abandon, which is tyaj, and which in Sanskrit you get the verbal noun tyaga, which in Pali is chaga, a standard phonetic mutation of tyaga, Pali, chaga, Sanskrit. And that has more the sense of renunciation or the abandonment of something that is dear to you. So you can talk about if you laying down your life in a higher cause, that this word, this chaga would be used. But bahana, just getting rid of a fairly ordinary word, just meaning getting rid of something. And then the third effort, the third Vayama.
James,
Yes,
but
Jen.
the prefix pra, that has a sense of forward to it, is that right?
It mostly does, yes. It mostly does. That is correct. And it is cognate with the Greek and the Latin pro, and it's cognate with the very word you used, forwards, to the fore, at the forefront. Etymologically, it is that same word. And in the Slavonic languages, it retains it's a pro, exactly the same as Latin and Greek. So very often it does have that meaning of going forward. Sometimes it's used with the meaning, with a sense that's not easily detectable, maybe a slightly intensive sense. It's, you know, we do the same kind of thing in English. You know, with with our with the word up, for example. Sometimes it's used in a literal sense, you know, upwards rather than downwards. But very often it's used just as a kind of a completion. It's like eat it up, finish it up. There's no upward movement sense there. It's just used as a word to add a kind of tone of finality to the verb. You do occasionally find that in Sanskrit and Pali as well. But you're right, Jen. That is the underlying meaning of it.
James,
Yeah, Simon. Yeah.
with the pa having the kind of intensifying, is that also related to the English prefix be, as in bestir or bethink oneself, or is that a different root?
Yeah.
Benighted, or
That's right. That's an interesting one. It could be so. I'll check that one afterwards. It could be so. My initial reaction is to think not, but oddly enough, I should have looked it up because I was thinking about that very point a week or two ago, whether there's some be as in benighted, bestir, befriend, where its origin is. I will look that up and come back to you on that one next time, Simon. I tend to think not, because this prefix be, it tends to indicate a state of something, or falling into a state of something. Woe begone. But anyway, I will check. So the third effort then is bhikkhu anupannanam kusalanam dhammanam uppadaya chandanjaneti vayamati viryam arabhati chittam pagganhati padahati. And the fourth, bhikkhu uppannanam kusalanam dhammanam pitya asammusaya bhayobhavaya vepullaya bhavanaya paripurya chandan janeti vayamati viryamarabhati chittam pagganhati padahati. We've actually got a row of six nouns here, without any and there, and it's kind of optional. You very often find, if you really talk about two distinct things, you want, sugar and milk in your tea, two distinct. You use and, but here we've got a series of not synonyms exactly, but words all roughly on the same point. So it's as if the point is being emphasized by the repetition, but the kind of quasi synonym repetition of words. You can talk about something being magnificent, breathtaking, amazing. You wouldn't necessarily have to say magnificent and breathtaking, and you just put this string of near synonyms just to emphasize the effect. So Pali does pretty much the same thing. So piti is just the verbal noun meaning standing, literally. It's from our root sta, stand, the same as our English sta, as in stand, stood, stable, stance. So the root has remained, actually, this has remained a very stable root, actually, throughout the Indo-European languages. It remains unchanged in Latin, stare. In Italian, stare. It remains as the STA in our English word stand, and it equally remains unchanged, for example, in Russian, stat, to stand. It's got a slight irregularity in that you would expect the past participle, you have root sta and add ta to the past participle, you would expect to see stata, but no, it's not. The R changes to a short E. So standing is stita. I'll write that here. And as often happens, one way of forming a verbal noun is at the end of the word, instead of the past participle ta, you could change that to ti, and that makes a verbal noun. So one of the ways of making a verbal noun. So stiti literally just means standing, the act of standing, or being in a standing state. Indeed, state is another word derived from that same root, stare. In Pali, in Sanskrit, you get a sibilant, the s, followed by a stop, stiti. Pali will drop the sibilant, so it becomes titi, and sometimes the T will become retroflex. That's where we get piti, with the subdotted T. So it means literally standing, but the most common use of it is not just the actual the condition of being in a standing position. It means remaining in place, permanence. So standing in place, holding its ground, remaining stood there. From that same idea, we get stability. From stabilis, the Latin stable, again from the same root stare to sta to stand. So it has the meaning here of maintaining it in place, its continued existence. It's the opposite of fading away. Asambosaya, the non-decline, is interesting. I've done a note on this in my explanatory glossary. Okay, be honest now. Hands up, anyone who actually does look anything up even occasionally in the explanatory. Oh, Jen, very good. Yeah, Duncan, thank you. Yeah, Simon, Fenny.
I use it and am sometimes disappointed when a word that I want to look up isn't there. So that's
Okay, actually, you've raised a very good point there, Jen. As time goes on, I will be expanding and expanding. Whether it actually reaches the size of the Monia-Williams Sanskrit Dictionary, I very much doubt. Wonderful though that would be to achieve that goal, the statistical chances of my achieving it, having now reached the age of 81, are slightly on the slim side. However, I can do the next best thing, two next best things. One is to continue to put in there words that we're using in our in our texts, the words that we're studying in these classes. And the other one now arises, and I think everyone will have occasion to be thankful to Jen for raising the point. If there's a word that you want in there, please write to me and ask me to put it in. And even better, if you can send me with it the text in which you have found that word, so we can place that word in context. So I urge and encourage you to write to me, say, please deal with this word in the explanatory glossary. It will be for the benefit and welfare of the many, hopefully. So it's from the, it has this general meaning of things going wrong, forgotten, a primitive and a Proto-Indo-European forgetfulness, neglect of something, letting it go, it fades away, then it becomes wrong. It turns up in Pali as musa, as in musawada, false speech. The mrish turns up in English as mar, the verb to mar, meaning to spoil. Your experience of something might be marred by some event. Actually, in the Italian, it turns up in the Italian word zmarrire, which is a word that came into Italian via the Germanic line, just meaning to spoil or muck something up. And sammosa is just the decline of something. A good quality that was once there fades away, gets lost through neglect, lack of attention, lack of diligence. That is the sammosa. So the pitya for the remaining in place. Asammosaya for the non-decline. Biyubhavaya. Biya is, there's the adjective, or two adjectives, bahu and bahula, meaning much. It has got an irregular comparative, and some of these very common adjectives have irregular comparatives, just as in English. So for much, you see, we don't say mucher, we say more. You see, you could call it an irregular comparative form. So bhiya is just an irregular comparative of bahu, meaning more. So bahu bhavaya for the more being, meaning the enhancement of it. Vepulaya. Pula. This, some of the Indo-European languages have got it with an F, some with a P. English has it with an F. So pula, English full, and it's the Latin plenus, the Greek pleion. So vipula is like filling out, vipula, filling out, filling up. Therefore, expansion or enhancement. Bhavanaya for the cultivation or development. This actually is bhavana is a core word. And I'll just deal with it. I think probably you're pretty familiar with it. It's from the root bhu, meaning to be, quite simply to be. Cognate with our English verb to be. It's etymologically the same as the Sanskrit and Pali root bhu. And it makes a causative form. So you've got the ordinary verb bhavati, it is. Then you've got the causative, either bhavayati or bhaveti. Meaning to cause to be, to bring into being. Why were there two forms of it? Answer is this. In Sanskrit, the form bhavayati alone is allowed. In Pali, you can have bhavayati, but more commonly the aya softens to an e, bhaveti. There's no distinction of meaning at all. So the bhaveti is more like, you might call a colloquial softening of bhavayati. But no distinction of meaning at all. So it means to bring into being, in a double sense, either to bring into being, to cause to be something that did not exist before. It also means to enhance or increase the being of something that already is. And that exactly reflects the idea of cultivating, developing something. You can either create something or develop something that already exists. Both of these meanings are covered by the word bhaveti, and the verbal noun is bhavana. So bhavana, we often use it, I mean, in some other circles, meaning one's practice, which is pretty much right. It actually means one's cultivation, cultivating what we're doing. Shri Animala, please tell us, in Sinhala,
Yes,
is the word bhavana used in Sinhala?
yes, bhavana. Bhavana, like we like a meditation. When we are doing meditate, we say we are doing bhavana.
Okay, right. So you were using it then. You were using it then in exactly the same sense that
Yes.
we use it. Okay, thanks for that. Welcome. Glad you could join us, Christina.
Sorry. So sorry. So I just got back from work. Thank
Don't
you.
worry at all. It's actually extremely noble of you for to get back from work and straight into the class. Very welcome. So yeah, Srinamala, thank you for that. So here for all of these things, Bhavanine, Paripuri. Paripuri. It's this Paripuri has got a ring. It's a little bit like fulfill. You see, we have the adjective full. We have the verb to fill. We also have this compound word to fulfill. A slightly odd word, but this paripuri in Pali is very much like our English fulfill. It's two different forms of the same word combined into one. So paripuri, both in form and in meaning, closely coincide with the English idea of fulfillment. So what I will do then is just read out the last one of the four efforts. Subhiku uppannanam kusalanam dhammanam titya asammusaya Biyo bhavaya, vepullaya, bhavanaya, paripurya, chandanjaneti, vayamati, viryam arabhati, chittam pagganahati, padahati. So we could have just a little recitation of that. Who feels really inclined to do a recitation of it? Okay, some of you are, or maybe all of you are overcome by shyness, so shall I make the choice for you? Shall I choose at random? Judith, right. You are the chosen one to do a recitation. Can you just read through the first of the four?
Yes, could we have it on the screen? We're looking at
yes.
the glossary.
Yeah. I'll call it up for you. Ba-dum, ba-dum. Okay, so it's and then when we finish that one, I'll go down. That's
Okay,
good.
right.
So here we are. Is it?
Yes.
Good.
So Bhikkhu Anupananam Papakanam Akulasalanam Damanam Apodaye
Anupadaya.
Adupapadaya Chandam Janeti Vayamati Riyam Arabati Chitam Paganhati Padahati.
Okay, right. The be much firmer with the doubled consonancy. We've got a double P and a double Anupananam. Anupananam.
Anupananam.
Okay, right. And here, can you say Akusalanam?
Akusalanam.
Okay, right, yeah. And just say again, Anupadaya. Anupadaya.
Anupadaya.
Okay, very good. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Judith. Christine, would you like to have a go at it?
Okay, lovely. Let's see what happens. Ku anupananam, tapakanam, akusalanam, damanam, anupadaya, chandam janeti, vayamati, viryam, arabati, chitam, pagganhati, padahati.
Padahati. In fact, there were four cases, incidentally, there were four occasions as you were reciting where it came out a bit wrong, but you immediately spotted it. You must have realized in your own mind, hey, that's not quite right. And you went back and corrected yourself.
I did try and listen.
You corrected yourself very well on 3 of the 4 occasions, which is good going. Good going. There's Arabhati. It's a long R, and all of the remaining vowels are Arabhati.
Arabhati.
Not Ati.
But it's an A, because it's an A.
Arabhati. It's a short A.
Arabhati.
There's this tendency to, for an English speaker to pronounce it an arty, as in a Maserati or something. But no, it's but it's mostly the ati. But no, we always write it just with an unmarked a, meaning it's short. And there are a few verbs where there you have a long ati, where there it's marked long. But otherwise, don't fall into the trap saying ati if it's just ati. So say arabhati. Arabhati. Okay, yes, don't be shy about making it a short Arabhati. Okay.
Arabhati.
That's perfect. That was perfect, Christine. Okay, thank you. And we'll do the second of them. Keith, would you feel inclined to come in and do this one?
Well, I haven't been keeping up at all. This is the first time I've seen it, I'm afraid.
Ah, okay, not to worry.
I'll have a go if you'd like me to. Which bit are we on?
We're doing the second of the four efforts. That's this one
Right.
I highlighted there.
Excellent. I'll have a go. Bhikkhu Upananang. No. Upananang.
Yeah, that was very good. You see, you saw your mistake and you corrected it. Just as there is more rejoicing among the angels of heaven about the 99 sinners who do penance, you see, than the one just man who doesn't need to. That kind of thing. Saw the mistake, immediately corrected it, as did Christine. So pray proceed, Keith.
Papakanang, Akusalanang, Yammanang, Pahanaya Chandang, Janeti, Vayamati, Viryang Arabati,
Very good, yes.
Chittang, Paganati, Padbahati.
Very good, yes. So on two occasions there you spotted you heard your own error. Did you actually, as a matter of interest, did you, as it were, after it came out, did you then hear, no, that's not right, and then went back and corrected it? Because that's how it seemed to me that you were doing it.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
right. Okay. There is this dot under the N there. If you were pronouncing it very carefully, you say paganhati, just as we have the difference between the and da, so there's the difference in n and n. You will very commonly find that in Thai chanting, for example, when you hear Thai monks chant, they ignore the difference between the n and the n. Indeed, even among the modern Hindi speakers, although they will know very exactly in the spelling, in the Devanagari spelling, different letters will be used, and that's not a mistake they would make in writing. Even modern Devanagari speakers tend to ignore the difference in the n. Interestingly, modern Hindi speakers, and the same applies generally in northern India, and I think in Sinhala as well. I'll ask Sri Namala about that in a moment. The distinction between the dental th and the retroflex da is still very carefully maintained, for example, in Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, and so on. But the distinction between dental n and retroflex n does tend to be ignored. So tell me, Shri Namala, in Sinhala, do you maintain the difference, the distinction in ordinary speech between the and da?
No,
You don't.
No.
Okay, excuse me. Sorry. I should have put the I'm teaching, Andreas. I'll get back to you. Sorry. So it's not maintained in ordinary speech in Sinhala, is that right?
That's what we are doing.
Okay.
Not like the Devanagari like that. Not.
Okay, so but I think that in writing you use different letters, but in speaking the distinction would be lost. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll find, as I said, in among the speakers of the northern Indian languages, Hindi and the others, the distinction is maintained. The Thais tend not to maintain the distinction, even the and da. So the Thais tend not to do it. So so the sounds t, the, t, and d. The Thais will pronounce all four the same as a t. So the Thais we often hear the Thais chanting, of course, but don't necessarily imitate them exactly when it comes to the correct pronunciation. So I think maybe it doesn't matter terribly much. It's just what I'm attempting to do here is the best approximation that I can make to the way it's likely to have been pronounced at the time of the Buddha. And you may have heard this before, but we can make a pretty educated guess at how it was pronounced in the time of the Buddha because of all the Vedic chanting that we can hear has been preserved, beautifully preserved over the millennia. And you can just find Vedic chanting all over the internet. And that's broadly the pronunciation I attempt to follow when pronouncing Pali. We can never be sure exactly how it was pronounced, but we've got a pretty shrewd idea. And also partly because the Northern Indian languages have been very conservative. They've drifted apart from each other slightly in vocabulary and grammar, but in the pronunciation, they have not changed much over a very long period. Okay, jolly good. So who was next then? Sarah, would you like to have a go at doing the second effort, the one highlighted there?
Okay. Bhikkhu Upannanam Papakanam Akusalanam Dhammanam Pahanaya Chandanjaneti Vayamati Viryam Arabati Chittang Paganhati Padahati.
Okay, pretty good. This you say you got this right second time around. The first time you said Pahanaya rather than Pahanaya. That is the distinct influence of the phonetics of English, because we got Pahanaya, we'd automatically in the phonetics of English want to shorten that one, Pahanaya. It's something that I hope that it's being done less and less now in the Pali chanting among our Samatha Sangha, that a lot of people used to make the mistake in chanting the precepts of Kamesu Michachara. So many people, even those who have been in the Sangha for many years and should know better, it comes out as Michachara, but it's not, it's Michachara. The phonetics of English don't have a Micha-a-a together. We want to shorten the middle one. However, I'm happy to say that having announced generally that I'm the self-appointed Pali police for the Samatha Sangha, we are improving the quality of the pronunciation generally. So Bhavanaya, we've just got to, as in so many things in our own bhavana, we've got to strain a bit to get out of the comfort zone into a different phonetic zone, as it were. Also, another thing, remember, Sarah, you pronounced that with a bit of a short eh there. Remember, the eh is always long in Pali unless it's forced to be short. And it is forced to be short if it's followed by a double consonant or a consonant cluster. If it can be long, so janeti, it will always naturally be long. It's shortened, for example, in words like metta, because it's followed by a double consonant, so Pali will shorten it. Incidentally, Sanskrit would, even in that circumstance, would never shorten it. An a and an o are always long in Sanskrit, whatever follows. In Pali, it shortens, so let's say, if it's forced to.
Yeah. I was trying to think, I'd written down from last time that you put, when the Chandan Janeti come together, you change the N to a Enye.
You do, yes. So it's written as I've highlighted it there on screen as a subdotted M. But But the subdotted M, remember, is simply a nasal ending. By nasal, it means where the air is coming out of the nose only. And it takes on the quality of whatever follows it. So you're right, Sarah. It would be pronounced Chandanjaneti. Chandanjaneti. And also Akusalanandhamanam. So Akusalanandhamanam Bahanaya. So the m there, the anuswara, the subdotted M, is followed by a dental the. So it comes out just like an ordinary N. Akusalanandam. And here at the end, it's followed by a P. So it comes out as a M sound.
Difficult.
It will just come out naturally. Kusalanandamanam Bahanaya. The ties don't always follow that, for example. The ties you'll sometimes hear Thai monks pronouncing this final M sound always as a M. The Northern Indians don't like them doing that. Not that there's anything they can do about it. It's just the way it gets pronounced in Thailand. It's not terribly important, and you are going to hear different pronunciations from North India, Burma, Thailand, Sri Lanka. Provided it's provided it's a nasal, you can't go too far wrong. Maybe I'm being a little bit over punctilious, but that's something you'll have to put up with. I just am.
It's good to know how it should be done.
It's good to know how it should be done. And also, it's very likely how it was done in the Buddha's own speech. Okay, thank you then, Sarah. Look, we're just on for 4 o'clock now, so we will have our 15-minute break. And we will resume in exactly a quarter of an hour from now. Okay, see you then.
Pause recording, James.
Thank you. Another gold star for you there. So,
Yeah.
pause recording. Recording. So we could just do a recitation now of the third of the 4 efforts. Who hasn't gone? Yes, Shri Animala, would you like to recite that for us?
Which one? First one.
Yeah, it's this one highlighted here. That's the third of the 4.
Yeah. Bhikkhu anupannanam kusalanam dhammanam uppadaya chandam janeti vayamati virayam arambati chittam paghanhati padahati.
Okay, thank you, Shri Animala. You probably find it easier. Would you find it easier if I had it up in the Sinhala script as well?
Yes.
I'll see whether I can do anything about that. Actually, probably everybody here has got the facility to get all these scripts up. Also, I've mentioned it on my it's in the study resources guide. I've given a link to a free site called Lexilogos, where you can do virtually any script in the world with standard ways of transliterating. That's what, incidentally, I use for when I'm doing the Devanagari script. And it also does the Sinhala for it. Does virtually any script in the world, even many I'd never even heard of. Okay, so who is next then? Jeremy, would you like to have a go with this one?
Bhikkhu anupananam kusalanam damanam upadaya chandam janeti vayamati viryam arabati chitam paganhati padahati.
Okay, Jeremy, but beware again of the arti, where it should be ati.
Padahati.
Yeah, padahati. I mean, the only arti there is where it's a paganhati, because that's a different class of verb. So if you can also, can you say upadaya?
Upadaya.
Right, upadaya, yes. Can you just, by the way, analyze for us, Jeremy, what the upadaya means?
I did look at it earlier, just a minute. So I think it's rising, isn't it?
It is a rising.
And we're sort of dealing with the negatives here.
Yes. This is one of those core words that ideally you should know so well that you know the Pali as well as the English, and you just understand it within the Pali. It's from the root pad, P-A-D, meaning to go. It's the basic meaning of pad, to go. Cognate with our English word foot. And the ut in Sanskrit, utpada means literally outgoing, going out. The ut means both out and up. So utpada, upgoing, means arising, coming into existence. And the utpada, the tp of Sanskrit, becomes a double P in Pali, so uppada. And that prefix ut is the same as our English word out. It's etymologically the same word.
And then ud plus pad, the ud changes then to up.
That's right. What happens is, just give you the iPad again. So we've got root pad with many roots. When you make a verbal noun out of it, if it's a short a followed by a single consonant, as here, you make the verbal noun by lengthening the a to a, so pada. You see the same, for example, with the root of vad, which makes a verbal noun vada. Vad, to say, vada, saying. Generally it means saying, but also teaching, what you say to those who listen, as in Theravada, the elder saying, the teachings of the elders is Theravada. So that's pada. Utpada, the prefix ut, where you get a t and a p, or almost any two consonants together like that in Sanskrit, they generally merge into a doubled consonant in Pali. So that's why utpada becomes upada in Pali. And that is part of the core vocabulary of the Theravada Buddhists. I mean, there's the basic doctrine of paticca samuppada. That's the one often translated as dependent co-origination. But we'll come to a lot more detail about that as we go along. So it's a standard variation that a p becomes a double p in Pali. It happens with many consonants, like alpa, for example, meaning small or few, and as a singular, as if it's it can mean small in size or few in number, and that's the one that will become appa. in Pali. So alpa kritya, few chore, having few chores to do. That is the one that becomes appakicho in Pali, alpa to appa, as in verse 1 or 2 of the Karaniya Metta Sutta. So appa, Sanskrit, alpa, few. Soups, here we are. Okay, thank you then, Jeremy.
It could also mean not ripe, is it then? Another meaning?
Not right.
No, ripe, as in fruit, ripe.
Ah. That would be apakka. There's the word.
James, it looks like you're writing.
I am. Thank you. Thank you for grabbing me at that early stage. There's pakwa in Sanskrit, which becomes pakka. That would mean ripe.
It's just I took a look at the Pali Text Society dictionary. I looked for upada.
You're looking at upada.
Yeah.
Oops. Don't know why it does this to me. I call it up on Zoom and it here we are. Okay. Here we are. Okay. So Utpada, this is the one we're looking at here.
Yes. And it's right at the end of the paragraph there.
Ah, Dhammasangha, Padisampadasamagga. Or not ripe. Not coming into existence, not ripe. Anupada. Okay, I had not seen that particular meaning. I better just check that. So that's in the Deaconicaya 112. Let me check that one out. It looks like that's how it has to be construed in that context, if that's what the PTS dictionary says. But let me check that out, and get back to you on that one next time.
Sorry,
But
Jen, we haven't had a rabbit hole for a while, so I thought I'd.
I'm sorry, say again, Jeremy.
I thought we hadn't had a rabbit hole in a while, so I thought
we haven't had a rabbit hole. This is a rabbit hole down which I am unable to go at the moment. I'm going to have to check this one out. I have an initial difficulty in seeing how anupada can mean not ripe, but not having come into existence. Because upada, when you see the word, it just the feeling of the meaning is coming into existence, something that did not exist before coming into existence. Okay, I'll see if I can throw any more light on that. But for the moment, the rabbit hole remains closed, sadly. Hopefully, we can open it next time round, Jeremy. But there's some paka, by the way. Paka, the word for ripe. There's the word bach, of which the original meaning is to cook, and it's also used in the sense of ripening. And so patch, by the way, cognate with the English word bake. And we very frequently see it with the prefix vi and vipaka. We very frequently see that word. Incidentally, a ch to a
Looks like you're
k.
writing, James.
Thank you. Sorry. Patch to cook, as they call it, the bacon, vipaka. You very commonly find, in fact, is it invariable? Might be, I'm not sure, but certainly most common, that a final ch will become a k when you make a verbal noun out of it. And the same for j and a g. For example, the root yuj will make yoga. Patch, baka. So vipaka means like ripening out, cooking out. And that's the word meaning that's the standard vocabulary used for the ripening of one's kamma. So kamma vipaka, the maturing of kamma, when the results of your acts come back to you. Simon.
Wouldn't that just mean the same thing in the sense that anupada means unarisen? And if in the context of that Digha Nikaya, they're talking about somebody's vipaka coming into existence, it's not yet ready, it's not fruited. So they're just saying it's not yet born, it's unarisen, unripened karma.
Okay, so with the meaning not yet arisen, but in that context, the idea is not yet arisen in the sense that it hasn't ripened yet.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can certainly see that. Have you called up the text in front of you, Simon?
No, I mean, Digha Nikaya is pretty big, isn't it? But and I don't even know how to get like whatever it is. I've made a note of it 112, but I'm hopeless at finding my way around.
Yeah, but there are different notations for it. It would be far easier if they've just said sutta number so and so.
A mild prediction that it's something to do with the arising of vipaka.
Yes, actually, my hunch is the same as yours, but I will double check this. Right, who? Sorry, I'm losing track of who's done. Who remains to recite? Who has not recited? Oh, Simon, of course, right. Please go ahead, Simon. In fact, you could go on to the fourth effort, the fourth Vayama.
Bhikkhu upannanang kusalanang dhammanang titya asamosaya biyo bhavaya vepulaya bhavanaya paripuriya chandang janeti vayamati viryang arabbati chittang pagganhati padahati.
Okay, very good indeed. So if you were a bit over enthusiastic with the doubling of the p there, you said something like vepulaya.
Could I ask just a quick question about the
Please.
I want on the very final word of each of those. I watched a quite amusing video of two monks who were discussing, Americans who were discussing, and the word I got here was either one of them was constantly pronouncing anusaya and the other one was saying anusaya. And at the end, they kind of said, look, we're going to have to sort out how you actually pronounce this. And somebody said that because the anu is the prefix, anusaya.
Yes.
So would the final word, I think before you pronounced it like padahati, would it be more padahati in the sense that the pa is the prefix and normally we would say dahati for putting, placing or holding?
Yeah, so are you saying that I pronounce it padahati?
I think it was padahati, yeah, with on the penultimate.
My instinct would be to pronounce it padahati.
Okay.
With the because normally bhavati, this stress, by the way, it'll vary from part to part in India. It will vary from speaker to speaker. it was carefully observed in Vedic times. There was more of a tone than a stress. So I think there's a general tendency in to pronounce it 3 syllables back. If the last 3 syllables are all light syllables, then it will be on the antepenultimates, on the third from last. So padahati would be normal.
So that would be then anusaya.
No, no. So I would tend to say anusaya, because the anu is a prefix, anusaya. We're talking about the latent tendencies here, aren't we? The anusaya, yeah. I would go for an anusaya because, well, precisely for the anu is a prefix, and you tend not to stress the prefix.
So that that would work for the padahati as well, the pa being a prefix to the verb.
Yeah. In fact, even let's just say, for example, let me just say, if that word were just on its own, padaha, you tend to put the stress on the first syllable. However, because it is a prefix, you tend to say padaha. It would be very unusual. In fact, I don't think I've heard it done to have the stress 4 back, padahati. I don't think you would hear that. Some of the stressing and intonation of Vedic and Greek, tend to follow the same lines. And for example, in Greek, you can never get the stress 4 back. You can have it 3 back, but never 4 back. Padahati is just sounds completely wrong. Padahati sounds right. It doesn't actually. Stress played quite an unimportant role, and since it has played an unimportant role, you tend to get variations in how it's pronounced from one country to another. Moni Williams lays out rules of stress, but that's I think just based on the way that modern Brahmins pronounced Sanskrit. But anusaya just sounds wrong to me, and anusaya sounds right. Having said that, we've got the first, the tanha. We've got the bhavatanha, the thirst for being. We've got the kama tanha, bhavatanha, and vibhavatanha. So having said that I'm reluctant to put the stress on the prefix vibhava, I don't know why it is, but I don't feel reluctant to stress the vi there, vibhava. More research is needed on this. Why am I reluctant to say anusaya, but not vibhava?
Isn't it because it follows its immediate opposite, that you're talking bhavatanha, vibhavatanha, so you would say it to stress that it's different.
That's right. You tend to stress the one element of the second word that differentiates it from the first one. Yeah. That's right. For example, you can say you're willing, or you can be unwilling. But you just said you were willing. No, I didn't. I said I was unwilling. So you'd stress it there, wouldn't you? Because you want to differentiate it from the other word. Okay, you've given me. So I'm going to try and see if I can find about it. Vibhava. Vibhava. If I saw vibhava on its own, would I say vibhava? I'll have to think about this one as we go along. So I think everyone who is visible on screen has recited. If there's anybody who hasn't recited and has got their video turned off, you're very welcome to turn it off and give us a recitation. Never any compulsion. Otherwise, we'll move on and do a bit of grammar. Jeremy, please.
Yes, James, just the word asamosaya, asamosaya. Is that samosa? Is that bewilderment, confusion?
No, that is samoha with an H.
Oh, all right.
They're from different roots. I've actually got a note on so this I've just called up. This is in the explanatory glossary here. The moha delusion, and you got samoha. Oh, I haven't even given you the. So let me write it here. So the verbal noun samoha, bewilderment or confusion. But this, which is, let me up again. And samosa, differing by just one letter, is it's not confusion, it's more decline. Yeah, there's a kind of a slight semantic overlap there because there is a certain sense of a mental inability as well as the actual decline of a thing. That's purely coincidental. They do actually have different meanings and different uses. So the samosa it can mean the loss of mindfulness or the decline of a thing. You have the sati samosa. So the samosa. So if I can, I think it's right to summarize it in this way. The samoha is a state of a confused, bewildered state of mind, whereas samosa is mostly the decline or disappearance of or neglect of a thing, as in sati samosa, loss of mindfulness, loss of sati. Sorry, were you saying something, Shirimala? Ah, okay. Hot mic syndrome. Right, so we could look at a bit of grammar. So, the book. So we had got to the negatives on page 9. And so a na may negate sentences. Well, that is the normal function of na. And bear in mind that the na can negate either just the word that comes after it, or it can negate the entire sentence. And that can cause a tiny bit of confusion. Because in the let me call up our text again. where we see Naham bhikkhave anyamekadhamampi samanupassami. You've got na aham becoming naham by Sandhi. If in English you put the not before the I, not I, then you are specifically negating I. I mean, maybe somebody else did, but not I. That was how it would be interpreted in English. It doesn't necessarily work like that in Pali and Sanskrit. This na here negates the entire sentence. So it could equally be correctly have said, aham bhikkhave anyamekadhamampi na samanupassami. So this na here has got to be treated as negating the entire sentence. So it would be wrong to translate literally na aham, not I. It would be, you have to translate it in idiomatic English, I do not detect or discern. So it's normally pretty apparent from context. And the point is made there. Well, I'm looking near the bottom of page 9 in the Garen Karuna Tilla book. It says, note that even though na negates an entire sentence, it does not necessarily occur near the verb. So it can be separated from the verb, and in that way can cause that what we might think of initially as something of an ambiguity. So just be alert for that. The a and the prefix a, looking at 6.2 now, negates words like the English un or the Latin equivalent in. In fact, our English prefix negating the word that follows, is etymologically directly connected with the a and the an. Remember the a and an before a vowel, and a before a consonant. And we still have this in English. I mean, derived from Greek. So the ah and the an in Greek have survived in English, and they exactly reflect those same negating prefixes in Sanskrit and Pali. Note in particular that the prefix ah can either negate the word, or it can create, if it's put before a noun, it can create meaning not possessing something. For example, if it's put before an adjective, it just negates the adjective, an adjective. Kusala, skillful, akusala, unskillful. Asukhamadukam, neither pleasant nor painful. When it is put with a noun, it can do one of two things. It can negate the entire noun. For example, our very well-known vidya and avidya. Let me just we have our noun vidya. It's actually, this is from the root vid, meaning to see or to know, mostly to know in Sanskrit and Pali. And in Sanskrit, it is just the root with the suffix ya, which is one of the ways of making a verbal noun. There are several. So vidya, the d and the y pronounced separately in Sanskrit, vidya, and that's the one that in Pali becomes vidya, meaning knowledge, and just negate it with the negating prefix a, and then you get avidya, which is our standard Pali word for ignorance. It can also used with a noun create a word meaning not having something. And we have the same in English from Greek as well. For example, theos meaning God. And if you are atheos in Greek, it doesn't mean you are a non-God. It means you are godless, without a God, meaning not believing in a God. So it can either negate the noun or create an adjective meaning not possessing such and such a thing. Sometimes
James, James, can I just ask, what would an example of that be, James and Pali, of not possessing, becoming an adjective?
For example, you get in Sanskrit you get the dhamma in Pali. If you have a dhamma, it doesn't mean non-dhamma. It means without the dhamma, behaving in a manner, behaving in a godless kind of manner. You could, for example, you've got this now. That's another point. Vidya, knowledge; avidya, non-knowledge, ignorance. You could also make an adjective avidya, meaning ignorant. What happens where here we have a very good example. We've got a feminine noun, vidya. Negate it with avidya. That's a noun meaning ignorance. If, however, and there are several nouns that behave in both ways, put the in front of it can be one of two things. Either the negation of the noun, knowledge, ignorance, or it can mean without knowledge, as an adjective, a person who is without knowledge. When that happens, the final the feminine ending becomes an ordinary adjectival ending the short and it then declines like any other adjective in I'm just trying to think of.
Thank you.
I'm just trying to think of examples where. Oops. Let me just, I will, in fact, I'll deal with this a little bit more in the next lesson. I'll find, you've raised quite an important point there, Duncan. I will just dig up some examples and we'll deal with them next time. One very good example is the word nata. Which means a protector, or it has the idea of meaning lord and protector at the same time. Sorry, final short nata, short nata. If you put the in front of it, anapa, it means you are without a protector. And in fact, the word is used to mean an orphan, somebody who's lost his protectors, who's lost his parents. So it doesn't mean a non-lord or a non-protector. It means somebody who does not have a lord, therefore, or a protector, and therefore an orphan. You probably all know the word without knowing that you know it. You know the pinda. The pinda means like a lump or a ball, which is how food was given. So we know the well-known benefactor, Anata Pindaka. Anata Pindaka. The Pindaka, the one who gives food, the Pinda, who gave these lumps of food to the Anathas, to the orphans, the feeder of the orphans. Anata Pindaka. But I'll come up with some more. Where were we? And at the very bottom of the page, we've got our word artha, Sanskrit artha. Typically, it means an objective, a thing you go for, a destination. And it can also be the goal, the objective of doing something. In the Karaniya Mettas, in the opening line, Karaniyam atta kusalena, to be done by one who is skilled in the atta, in the goal. So anatta, non-atta, negate it with anatta, and that gives us both a noun and an adjective. So it means non-point, futility, pointlessness, as a noun, or it can also be used as an adjective. If something is anattam, it's just pointless, futile, without any objective. Note generally when we're on this subject, and it comes back to the avidya and avidya point, we have the word we all know, anya, typically translated as wisdom. I think you all know the etymology of it, the etymology in the Greek cognates. I see a wry smile on Jeremy's face. It is from the root gna, the root we know just means to know, cognate with our English know, where that the j element there has survived into modern English as a K, but not pronounced, written but not pronounced. And it comes in the Greek gnosis, knowledge, and in the Latin gnoscere, as in cognoscere, indeed ignoscere or ignorare, to not know. If we put the pra in front of it, that is, coming back to Jen's point here, it's the pra meaning forward. It means forward. Here it means through. So pradnya is actually mean knowing something through, knowing into it, knowing through it. And that's how it came to mean wisdom. Exactly the same word when it came into Greek did mean knowing in advance, a foreknowledge, which so prognosis. And so pradnya and prognosis are etymologically all the same word, though their meanings differentiated. In Greek, it came to mean prognosis, to predict and know in advance, literally. Typically in a medical prognosis, this is where it is now, this is how it will be. That's the prognosis, the foreknowing. It comes to mean wisdom in Sanskrit and Pali, knowing through, kind of not just knowing the surface of something, but knowing into it, understanding what is behind it, the understanding of it. That's the panya, wisdom. So pradnya, in Pali, by regular mutation, becomes panya. The dnya, by the way, in Sanskrit, invariably becomes a double nya in Pali. Panya. So when I say invariably becomes a double nya, when it's preceded by a vowel. Of course, if it's not preceded by a vowel, it can't do that. So, for example, the Sanskrit for knowledge is jnana. In Pali, on its own, with no preceding vowel, it is just jnana. If there's a vowel in front of it, then it doubles. So prajna in Sanskrit becomes panya in Pali. Now, this is a feminine noun ending in a long a, the straightforward feminine noun, prajna. Supposing you put this as the second member of a compound, that makes an adjective. Let's take the word bhuri. Now, from our root bhu, we have bhu meaning to be. It often has the meaning of the earth in the sense of the wide expanse of planet Earth. Bhutale, on the tala, on the surface of the bhu, on the surface of the earth. And it makes also an adjective bhuri. Bhuri meaning literally earth, as wide as the earth. So one of the epithets of the Buddha, and we have it somewhere in our chanting book, Bhuri Panya Tathagata. Bhuri Panya Tathagata. Now, what's happened? Why is it Bhuri Panya with a short a, not Bhuri Panya? I'll tell you why. Because we've got Bhuri, wide, vast, literally earth-like, and we're going to make a compound adjective. When you make a compound adjective, that adjective is of itself then without any gender, because what happens to it, like any adjective, it will take the gender of the noun that it qualifies. So if you apply it to a grammatically masculine noun, it's going to have a grammatically masculine form. So although panya on its own is a feminine noun ending in long a, panya, as soon as it joins as a compound in another word and creates an adjective, it loses the quality of being a feminine noun and it just becomes the second element in an adjective. And it's got to fall in line and behave like any other adjective, so it loses its status as a feminine noun. So bhuri panya, and the massive for person, the nominative masculine would be bhuri panyo, the ordinary masculine nominative singular. So you could never talk about panyo on its own. The word is panya, feminine noun. But as soon as you've got a person of vast wisdom, is bhuri panyo. And in the chanting book, I forget where it is now, something bhuri panya tathagata. That is now that's the vocative form. Just ending in a short ah, that's why bhuri panya. The Buddha is bhuri panyo, nominative, but oh, wise one, bhuri panya tathagata, vocative forms. So that explains the form bhuri panya, where on its own we'd say panya. Now panya becomes part of a compound. It's got to behave like an adjective now, so it loses that feminine ending a. And it would regain that femininity if you were talking about a bhikkhuni, for example, being bhuri panya. Okay, that becomes panya again, not because the original word was panya, but because it is an adjective qualifying a feminine noun, therefore it's got to take the feminine form of the adjective. So it's back to, so a male person would be bhuri panyo, female would be bhuri panya. I always get this self-doubt at the end of this explanations. I mean, has it hit home? I'm never quite sure whether I've been understood here. I'm seeing some of you nodding, but you know, are you nodding kindly or because it really has been comprehensible? And the same, for example, like I'll bring some more examples next time as I follow this up with these negated words. It so often happens, doesn't it? You kind of as soon as you're being looked at by a lot of people waiting for you to perform, you can't remember the word anymore.
James, I was sort of wondering if you were starting talking about panya because you were going to talk about how panya gets negated, because we're in this section on negated. I mean, because we do talk about vija, avija, but I
Yes.
mean, how would panya just take the A? I don't.
In theory, yes. Though whether in fact it ever occurs, I'm not sure. I don't think it. I'm just looking at her. I'm not sure that the word. And if you said apanya, it would be understood by, say, native Pali speakers, well, unwisdom. But whether the word is in fact appears in the literature, I'm not sure. I'm just seeing if it. Here we are. Well, it certainly exists in Sanskrit. This is Moni Williams I've turned up here. So we've got in Sanskrit, it's pradnya with a long a at the end. There it's short. Why is it short here? Because it's negated. It's now become an adjective. Somebody who is without pradnya is not apradnya, but apradnya. So it certainly exists in Sanskrit. I just tried to check it in Pali.
James, I think in Pali there is apanyaka, so an ignorant person. No, sorry, it's an adjective rather.
Yeah, that would be an apanyaka. Is it with a double P? I'm just looking. It doesn't appear.
No, it's a single one, I think.
Single P. It shouldn't be a single P. It should be a double P because it's pra in Sanskrit. Let's see, apanya. That's apannaka. Apanyaka here. O equals apanya. Goodness me. It does exist. There we are. Thanks for bringing that up, Jeremy. So we can have apanya, ignorant. You very often have a ka. I'll be right with you, Simon. You often have a ka added without it. Sometimes it makes a little bit of difference. Sometimes it doesn't. Papa, papaka, apanya, apanyaka. There's no real difference in meaning. But there we are. Yes. So apanya, and in Sanskrit, Moni Williams has given to us apradnya. Meaning somebody who is a person who is without pradnya, as opposed to non-pradnya. Simon, please.
Would it have the double P? I mean, if it had the double P, we would be going down the rabbit hole of whether it means little knowledge, wouldn't we?
If it meant, sorry?
If it had a double P, apanya.
Apanya, yes.
Little knowledge, apa, little, nya.
Oh, sorry. I would want to say it as apanyana there. But it could mean that, yes. Incidentally, this if you see an appa, Simon has been on to that point, it can mean or the equivalent of the Sanskrit apra, or from Sanskrit alpa. So the ambiguity could not arise in Sanskrit, it would be apra or alpa. And you get it in the first verse, let me call it up, of the Karaniya Metta Sutta. In the second verse of the Karaniya Metta Sutta, in the first line, you get apakicho of few tasks, that is alpa krityaha in Sanskrit. But in the second line, you also get an appa, but that's a different upper. There's apagabho. That's the last word of the second verse, which is apragalbha in Sanskrit. So you get the appa with one meaning in verse 2, line 1, and appa from a different origin, different etymological origin, in verse 2, line 2.
That's disputed, isn't it? Because some people say that it is somebody of few births, of few future births, as in the last.
That is actually, that's how I originally interpreted it. So you've got gambha from garbha, which means a womb, and in fact you get that in the last verse. Gabhaseyam punareti, the Gabhaseya, a womb resting place, a resting place in a womb, in other words, human rebirth. So in fact, Simon, yeah, you're right. So the apagambha could mean, it could be interpreted to mean alpagarbha, few wombed, in other words, not having many human rebirths to come back into, or equally well, apragalbha, not pushing yourself forwards. However, from the point of view of just the interpretation of the meaning, if you look at it with the other adjectives, santindriyocha nipakokcha apagabhukuliswananugidho, these are all kind of moral qualities of how you behave. And the apagabhu, construed as apragalbha, is a moral quality of not pushing yourself forwards. Another reason I like apragalbha, meaning not, is because this galbha is one of those wonderful survivals. It's directly cognate with our English word gallop. Galbha, apragalbha, not galloping forwards. In other words, not pushing yourself forward to the front rank.
Could it be gulp as well, as in to swallow, like devouring something?
So what? Nice one, Simon. I'd never looked at it. That's another one I would check to gulp and gallop. Let me check that one out before the next one. It would be entertaining if it were. I'll check. So to resume with the grammar, we're almost on time here. Time is almost up. So just looking at the top page and a note on the glossaries, and the way words beginning with the negating a or an are treated in the glossaries, and you will incidentally find this often in dictionaries generally. But where a word is where it's obvious what the prefix a means, a simple negating prefix, the dictionary will often not give it as a separate word. For example, kusala, which we often translate as wholesome or skillful. Akusala, that's simply a negation of that adjective in exactly the same simple way that we would do it in English with the un. Kusala, akusala, skillful, unskillful, wholesome, unwholesome. Sometimes the prefix a does more than just negate. It often has an extra bit of a meaning there. That's why, as in the word anapa, specifically means an orphan, somebody who's lost its parents. So you will find that given as a separate word in the dictionaries. And avidya also, because it's a specific term of Buddhist doctrine, ignorance. Jeremy.
Well, another one is Nietzsche and anicca.
Of course, yes, indeed. So just means anicca. Yeah, because anicca is a much more common word and a very doctrinally important word. There it would be separately dealt with in the dictionaries. It's not simply the negation of permanent. It's kind of a fundamental doctrinal point. The word nicca and anicca, by the way, ni is almost the same as the English word in. It's the ni and the in. It's the same word, just the sounds have got transposed by the time it got as far as English. So ni and in are the same word etymologically. And this suffix tia, romanized as tya, means something like belonging within, belonging somewhere. So nitya means belonging within. And it came to mean permanent, something that has a permanent self, something that was permanently within it as itself. So if something is anitya, there's nothing within it that is its permanent self, that gives it permanence. That was how the word originated, and then it came to mean just impermanent. But it almost overlaps. It slightly overlaps with the meaning of anatta, but not non-self. See, anatta is another one. Anatta can mean both non-self, and also it can be an adjective meaning not having an atta, not having a self. That's something again I'll expand further on next time. Just making a note to do it. Okay, so we're on to 5:15 now. So I will thank you all for being with me, and see you again next time. We hold the next classes, of course, on what day are we to? It's Tuesday. Saturday evening is the next one. As you know, before we had to split the entire. Everyone who showed an interest had to split into two groups. I think we might be coming close to the point now where the actual numbers of people attending are low enough that we can say we'll turn up at whichever one you like. I'll just see how many turn up at next Saturday's one, and then after that we might say we'll just turn up to whichever one you feel like. Okay, very good. So thank you all, and see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thanks then. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
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 Oh, here we go.
Bye.